Radio Rahim with Tyson Fury signing 1 million gloves, as is the tradition before big fights. Another huge tradition before big fights is a face-off, and I've got the team checking the record. But I think you've broken the record today on longest face-off in boxing history.
You reckon?
I reckon. There was no mic between the two of you, and it looked like you were saying something to him, even with his headphones on. What were you telling Wilder?
Listening to some easy listening classical music. So, yeah, I was just talking to him like I'm coming to get him and stuff like that. But I don't think he was listening. He wasn't even, couldn't hear me anyway, even if he wanted to. But, yeah, it was an intense little face-off. And I was quite happy with it because, like, he obviously wanted to stare down for a long time. And he felt the need to do that. But I felt like he was very uncomfortable while he was stood there. And he was a bit fidgety and his eyes were a bit glossy. And he wanted to get out of there, and that's why Malik Scott rescued him from the face-off, because Sugar Hill was there, and he was like, well, I know Tyson's going to be here for the rest of the evening. So, yeah. But it's crazy because he obviously wanted to do that stare-off thing for a long time, and then he just turned away and went away. So I think I've won another victory over him there. If he didn't want to do a long one and he wasn't going to look away first, because I hear his entourage saying, oh, D ain't going to look away, he's here all night. All of a sudden he looks away and turns away. And it's like, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting that. I thought the security guards were going to get in front of us and move us apart, but it didn't happen. And after a minute or so, he looked away. And again, I just take it as another moral victory. Whether people want to admit it or not, or whatever it is, the fact of the matter, he went to the extent of doing that and then looking away, then it's a victory for the big GK again.
It's not unusual by the end of fight week for a fighter to not want to answer any more questions or feel that all the talking's been done, as he said today. But at a first press conference, I don't think I can recall something like that happening. What do you feel like that indicates about Wilder's mental position today?
Yeah, well, I thought it was the best thing that he could have done, to be fair. It was the best thing because he would have got questions of, like, what were the excuses about and how was the suit and all that sort of stuff. So he did the best thing that was possible for him not to get all those questions asked to him. And there was no other way of avoiding what was coming, because the media would have asked him all those things, like, tell us about the knuckle dusters he had, or the gloves that were on back to front, or the crossbows he had up his back, and whatever else he made it excuse. The water being drugged and everything else, the trainer being in my team and all stuff. So, and the suit being too heavy and the fact that he was injured and whatever else, the water being drugged. So, yeah, it was the only way of avoiding that, I'd say.
In the first two fights, you were both boisterous and you sell tickets and you're both going to have your antics, but it seemed like a mutual respect in both cases. And there seemed to be a gentleman's respect even after the fight. But since then, how have you felt about the kind of things that you just rattled off, his reasons for having taken the loss and his description of your performance in the ring?
I've not heard any description of my performance in the ring from him, because I haven't really been looking at YouTube, or I don't really watch anything online and stuff like that. I live day to day, I train and I look after my family, and that's all I do. I'm not really interested in people's opinion on boxing and stuff like that, because I've been in this game a long time and I've learned that everybody has an opinion on something different, and it might be different to mine. So, but as for his excuses, I lost a lot of respect for Deontay Wilder on a serious note as a man and as a worthy competitor, because boxing's about game plans, executing these game plans, all stuff like that. And Deontay Wilder made so many excuses about what happened to him in the fight, and people are quite sick of hearing all these rubbish. So I've lost a lot of respect for him as a warrior and as a worthy opponent, because if he'd have beat me, I'd have shook his hand and said, fantastic job, congratulations, well done, good game plan. But he didn't have the same way of taking defeat. When you think you can't be defeated and you're unbeatable, and then you get smashed to pieces, it must be a crazy pill to swallow. Because obviously a lot of people were telling him that he couldn't be beat, and he believed in his own hype of the gravy train would never end, because he's got the big right hand and he's powerful dynamite and everyone's afraid of him before they start. But I've seen this a lot with bully fighters. Like, nobody could beat Sonny Liston or George Foreman, but after they lost, then other guys beat them. Do you ever remember a guy called Don Curry?
Yeah.
He was knocking everybody out, and then he lost to the ragamuffin man from England, and then he lost to everybody after that. So it's this has happened a lot in time. Like even the great Mike Tyson, no one could beat Mike, and then he lost to Buster Douglas, and then basically he didn't win another telling fight after that.
And what you're describing is the fear factor that enters the ring. Like, not only does the fighter believe he can't be beat, but his opponent believes that that fighter can't be beat. Yeah. Once that has that image has been destroyed, then everybody does their best against him. Do you believe that when he described your performance in the ring, that was a kind way of saying he'd accuse you of cheating? Not that he had some technical assessment, but that you've come in and wronged him. Yeah. That's quite an accusation. How did that rest on your ears, and how do you feel about the accusation?
You know, I can't speak for Deontay Wilder because I don't know what mental position he's coming from. You know, I've had my problems in the past, and I've been down, up and down a lot. And, you know, we all say things that we don't mean, and some things that we shouldn't. But, you know, life's life, and, you know, it's too short for regret. So Deontay said what he said, and, you know, it's up to him what he's going to say, and everyone's got the ability to say anything they want, but the tongue is more sharper than a double-edged sword, and it can get you in a lot of trouble, and it can get you out of a lot of trouble too. So, listen, I'm not really too interested in anything he's got to say about fights and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the results. And that's the things that we remember. We don't remember the excuses in a minute. We only look back at the result, and results were as followed. What went down?
Do you believe that there are adjustments that Wilder can make, technically in the ring, to make this fight more difficult than either the first or the second fight for you?
Yeah. I believe that everyone has a good chance in the heavyweight division of knocking the other guy out, especially someone with Deontay's power. He only has to land one of those big dynamite rights, as he did the first time and as he did 42 times before me, and it could be curtains. We're only human beings. I'm only a man with a pair of boxing gloves on. I'm not invincible. You know, he come close to doing it the first time. So I think Deontay's thing is to land that big punch, and that's it. Keep landing it.
It always seems odd to ask the winner of a fight if he intends to make any adjustments or needs to change any approach to the fight. You told me before the second fight that you were going to come right at him. You were going to fight him toe-to-toe. I famously did not believe you. You proved me wrong and shocked the boxing world. Now you say you're going to knock him out in under 7. Is the approach even more aggressive this time?
More aggression, yeah. I'm going to get on him straight away. But this time I've been working on some different stuff. And like Sugar Hill said, we believe that I've got one-punch knockout power before, where I didn't in the second fight. The first fight didn't have any power at all, according to Deontay Wilder. But, you know, the second fight, we only had 6 weeks of working on like changing a style from an elusive boxer to an aggressive fighter. But now we've had 18 months by the time the fight comes around of doing it. So you're going to see something special from me, and I'm just very excited and very honoured that I'm here again, back in America, back on ESPN and Fox. I'm back fighting the most dangerous puncher of all time.
You managed to neutralize the right hand in the second fight. He really never got a chance to get it off. I don't think he landed it clean in his knockout.
Clean in the first round twice, and I walked right through it.
What was the difference?
The difference was I was 275 pounds the second time, and I was 256 the first time, and I'd lost 147 pounds in 6 months before the first fight.
And you intend to be 300, if I heard you correctly.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my weight up at the moment. Problem is, though, I was training all year, and I've kept my weight around the 260 mark. And I was supposed to come in camp at like 280, but I didn't. I come in like under 270. So yeah, George is not too happy with that, but whatever. He'll have to do his job. He gets paid a lot of money to do it. So we're going to be building up on a lot of like high proteins and stuff.
If I might, I have to revisit your theory on a once beaten boogeyman. The same could be said for Anthony Joshua, having been beaten, upset, come back stronger, avenge that loss, but now facing Usyk, which could absolutely, in as much as this fight can upset a unified opportunity for the both of you, so could Usyk upset an opportunity for the both of you. How do you assess that matchup? And are you at all concerned that this fight might go away because Usyk is victorious?
You know, I have to assess that the the fight with Joshua and Ruiz, yeah, he got knocked out, and then he came back and beat him in the rematch. But it's not the same fighter, because Ruiz went away drinking and partying, didn't train. Came in at whatever, 300 pounds or something, 6'2". And he looked terrible in the second fight. Had Ruiz have trained properly and done things right, then he might never have got a victory over him again. So yeah, but I'm one person who doesn't undertrain. I always fit and ready to fight, and I don't care about all the flash stuff. So you'll never catch me like that. But to move forward with it, Usyk and Joshua, I don't believe Usyk's heavyweight, for one. I just think he's a pumped-up cruiserweight who struggles against heavyweights. In my opinion, Derek Chisora beat Alexander Usyk, and he struggled with Derek Chisora. And Joshua is a much bigger, stronger man than Derek, and I think he walks right through Usyk. To be fair, I don't think people say trying to build it up as a scary fight, but you know, he didn't have the power to halt cruiserweights, Marius Bradus, whoever else he fought. So he ain't halting Big AJ, 260 pounds of pure muscle and 6'6". How's he going to keep him off? He couldn't hurt Derek Chisora. He hit him with his best shots on the chin. Didn't hurt him. Didn't look like he hurt him anyway.
And now I know you've said that the undisputed title doesn't mean much to you, but I also know that legacy means a lot to you, and money means something to everybody. How upsetting was it to learn that you'd lost this? It
wasn't upsetting, you know. Like I say, legacy, not interested. When I'm gone, I'm gone. Don't want to be remembered, don't care. And money, I already have a lot of money. A lot of money. If I went out spending today, I probably wouldn't be able to spend my money in a lifetime. I've made a lot of money in my career, and I'm not a big spender, so I don't need much more money. I don't need any money, to be fair. I am very sensible when it comes to finances and stuff. So if I could spend what I've got now, I must be stupid. So I don't box for money. So if you give me another 6 zeros on the end of my bank balance now, I couldn't live any different life do I do. Because like I say, I'm not a big flash person, and I'm not a big extravagant spender. I don't have massive bills every month. I don't live beyond my means, which I have a lot of means to live on, but I don't do it. I only live what I'm earning at that time.
If it's not the money and not the legacy...
Exactly, it's the fight. It's just the fights. It's just a challenge. It's not the legacy. It's not the belts. It's not undisputed. It's not the money. It's the activity, being an active champion now, being a fighting man today. Because when it's all over, all inactive champions, people who've been champions in the past, they all envy being young and being in the prime of their life and being in the fight today. And they'd all give it all away just to be back active again, and they'd reverse the clock. But unfortunately, we can't reverse the clock, ever.
And so how much does the Anthony Joshua fight excite you as a challenge?
When it happens, it happens. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I continue. Keep boxing whoever they put in front of me. And that's it. You know, I'm not, like I say, I don't need Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua don't need me. He's made a lot of money too. He could retire today just like me. We don't need to box and get punched in the face. We're multi-millionaires. You know, we all are. Deontay Wilder is as well. Deontay Wilder made $54 million in 2020. 54 million. Great. 1 year. That's fantastic, isn't it?
I do think, though, that it's important to Joshua to be undisputed. I think legacy might mean more to him than to you.
Well, if it does mean more to him, then he should avoid me at all costs. Because that's one fight he can't win.
You like to wind the press up, and I know this. So when you talk about retirement, which you've done in the past, you've said you'll be three fights away and this kind of thing. Assuming that the fight goes the way you want on July 24th and you're able to retain the WBC, how far away do you see retirement for yourself? If it's not money and it's not legacy, what decides when you hang them up?
When I've had enough. When I don't want to chase no more, the thrill of the kill, the thrill of the chase of the gazelle across the African plains, the lion runs. When does that get old for him? When does he stop chasing the gazelles?
The last time we spoke was a huge event in Texas. There was a lot of money on the line, a lot of legacy on the line. Your best mate went up against Canelo Alvarez, had an injury that ended the fight, and he's spoken now about the possibility of retirement. What's the conversation been like between the two of you?
I told him that he should recover from his injuries and come back and win another world title, for sure. And don't go out like that. He's been in this game a long time. And I believe that Billy Joe needs to fight again for his own inner spirit. And he doesn't do it for the money because he's made a lot of money as well. And he's a very clever guy. He invests a lot of stuff out of boxing. So he'll never be broke. But again, it's more than that. It's about going out on the right causes. And I think that Billy Joe, if he doesn't fight again, it probably haunt him forever that he went out with a loss and an injury loss as well. It hurts more because if you get like knocked out or smashed to bits in a fight, then you know he wasn't good enough. But I believe he was in that fight, and it was a close fight up until obviously he got his face smashed in. But I think he can come back and regroup and win another world title for sure. Maybe try and get the Andrade fight.
Knowing your history with mental health and how much of a issue it is for you to help people that struggle, a fight ending the way you just described can be the catalyst for depression. I know you guys are very close. How do you help guard him against that?
I think he's in a good place at the minute. You know, he's got his family around him. He's active. He's got his kids there. He's got his missus. He's got everything going for him. He's young. He's got a lot of business ventures going on. He's got good people around him. He's got his dad there who tells him sometimes what he doesn't want to hear. But, you know, your papa will always give you good information because he ain't earning money out of you. And it's always going to be useful. So he'll have the right information.
You went into the pandemic on a high. You won the WBC title in knockout fashion. We've seen you on the Instagram training with your wife and having a great time. I like to ask fighters when they first return to the ring after COVID, what did you learn during this layoff, and has it changed you as a person or even a fighter having this time to reflect and so much time out of the ring?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with my wife and kids, my family, and it showed me what was really important in life. And we all got through it. I didn't lose anyone due to COVID, thank God. So we was one of the lucky families who didn't lose anybody. And thank you guys. And yeah, I've learned that my family are the most important thing. Like I said before, money's one thing. We all need money to eat and have a nice life and whatever. And you know, if you work hard in life and you dedicate yourself to something, then you deserve money. You deserve to get paid, which I've done, and I've been rewarded and I've got paid. And you know, we have a nice life. We have a nice life together. And I'm pregnant again with another kid, and we're due in 7 weeks from today, actually.
Amazing.
So that'll be number 6, and you know, I'm very, very happy that we're happy. We're a family, and the kids are in school, and we're all doing really well, and that's the most important thing. This fight game is something that's very selfish for me. It's like my wife and kids and all that, my brothers and all that. I'm a very selfish person because I don't need to be here in LA or Vegas fighting and risk getting hurt and injured and all that. Like I said, I've made a lot of money in my career and I can do what I want basically. I've got nothing to prove to nobody. I'm a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, still undefeated, 32. But I'm here for selfish reasons because I love, like I said to you before about the lion chasing things, I love that challenge of the fight. Nothing else, the business side of it and all that. Boxing's full of snakes, rattlesnakes. And as we've seen recently with what's gone on with me and Wilder, it's full of serpents. And they're all not to be trusted. But I do it for more selfish reasons than that. The selfish reasons I do it for is the fight. I love to fight and that's it. Nothing else really matters. So all the other shit that's going on behind the scenes, the skullduggery and all that kind of crap, I don't look into it too much. Focus on the fight and focus on loving what I'm doing today.
You called this a grudge match. What's that grudge? What's the bad? You said there's bad blood this time, and it wasn't before. What's that based on?
Not from my end, from Deontay Wilder's end. He's got a point to prove. He wants to kill me or whatever he says, decapitate me and put me in a coffin or some shite. And that's it. But me, I just want to go in there, do me fight and win and go out. And then I look forward again to fighting again. And like all the stuff that comes with it, like you don't see me carrying a proud and a belt round or all that sort of stuff like the champions usually do, because I'm unconventional. That stuff's not really what I do. But the fight is something special to me, to go in there with another killing machine and test my skills against these. And that's what I love to do.
And lastly, Tyson, this child is coming in 7 weeks. It's going to be right around fight time. You know if it's a boy or a girl?
We're due a week after little girl, so it'll be 3 girls and 3 boys.
And you are the Gypsy King. So many of people in your community look to you for guidance, and they look as you as a champion for them. Now you have a baby girl coming in. When it's said and done, how would you like to be remembered as a Gypsy, and what would you like your community to say about you?
I am not really interested in being remembered. I said that since before I beat Klitschko. Was never about belts or being remembered or anything like that. I'm just a normal person living a day-to-day life for me and my family. You know, I don't want to be a hero, don't want to be a role model, not interested in what people think of me. I'm here living my best life, and I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm being a very selfish person, fighting because I love it.
Well, thank you for not being selfish today and giving me some of your best life. Radio Rahim with the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Tyson. I really appreciate it.